Daf Yomi, Tractate Menachot, page 29. Chavtes Omid Aleph. Starting from the bottom of 28b, we were talking about the height of the menorah. So, just for context, I'll read the last line. Regard to the Gemara asks, granted, there were 22 goblets on the candelabrum, as is written, and in the candelabrum, the menorah, 4 goblets made like almond blossoms, like cups. Exodus 25:34, and it is written, 3 goblets made like almond blossoms, of 1 branch, a knob, and a flower, and 3 goblets made like almond blossoms in the other branch, a knob, and a flower. So for the 6 branches going out of the candelabrum. Exodus 25:33. Therefore, the candelabrum contains 4 goblets of its main shaft. Okay? Now we turn to 29a. That's our daily daf. V'tam nesei dekanim. Oesrim v'tartin kaftoirin. Nami echad osach kaftoirin. Tredi de v'shishu dekanim. V'chavto. And the 18 of the 6 branches, this equals 22 goblets. Concerning the knobs as well, just thinking, it's very interesting. It was like, I remember on the previous topic we said 11 and 22. And today's date is 11/22. It's Shvat 22. Interesting. Concerning the knobs as well, it is clear how the number 11 was reached. There we go. It's coming up again. The candelabrum contains 2 knobs of its main shaft. As the verse states, its knobs, Exodus 25:34, with the plural knobs, indicating that there were 2, and the 6 of the 6 branches, as it is written, in 1 branch, a knob and a flower. Exodus 25:33. In addition to these 8 knobs, the verse states that a knob under 2 branches of 1 piece with it, and a knob under 2 branches of 1 piece with it, and a knob under 2 branches of 1 piece with it, Exodus 25:35. This equals 11 knobs. And the prochim, tishami nalon, prochim tredide. Yeshisha dekonim tamnia, havu amarav shalmon. Today I ate a salmon sandwich. Amarav Salmon. Amarav Shalmon. Kesiv. Adirecho ad pircha mikshahi. From today, but from where do we derive it as the candelabrum contain 9 flowers? According to the verse, there are 2 flowers of its main shaft that is written and as flowers. Exodus 25:34. And the 6 of the 6 branches, as it is written, in 1 branch, a knob and a flower, Exodus 25:33, meaning that there are 8, not 9, flowers on the candelabrum. Rav Shalman said in response, it is written, it was a beaten work from the base to the flower, Numbers 8:4, which teaches that there was a 9th flower near the base. 8 and 9, so the Peel 89. Into the realm of the Peel 89. Amarav Gavoy Shamanoicha Tishab Tvochim Eis Veirav Shimi Bach Yelrav. Even Eis and Fem Noiro Boshlosh Malois. Shanakoin Mimitives and Eis. Rav says the height of the candelabrum is 9 handbreadths. Okay. Rav Shimi Bar Chia raised an objection to the statement of Rav. We learned in the Mishnah, Talmud 30b. There was a stone before the candelabrum, and it had 3 steps upon which the priest would stand and prepare the lamps for kindling. If the candelabrum was only 9 handbreadths high, why would it be necessary for the priest to stand on an elevated surface to reach the lamps? What of Shimi? Rav said to him, Shimi, is it you who is asking me such a question? When I said that the height of the candelabrum is 9 handbreadths, I was referring not to the total height, which is 18 handbreadths, rather I meant the candelabrum is 9 handbreadths from the point at which the branches extend from the main shaft above. Ketiv, ve'aperach ve'anerois, ve'hamilkachayim, Zohavu Michloi Zohav, my Michloi Zohav, Amar Ami, Shekilato, Mechol Zahav Sagur Shel Shloimoi, Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav, Esem Noirois, also Shloimo, Cholachas Viachas Hevilo, Elef Kichol Zohav, והכניסוהו 1,000 פעמים לחוד, לחול, והעמידוהו על כיכרו. It is written, and the flowers, and the lamps, and the tongs of gold, and that perfect gold, Miklot Zahav. 2 Chronicles 4:21. The Gemara asks, what is meant by Miklot Zahav? Miklot Zahav. Rav Ami says, it is a reference to the fact that the candelabrum and its vessels exhausted all of Solomon's pure gold, which was used in its fashioning in such great quantities. As Rav Yehuda says, as Rav said, Solomon made 10 candelabums, and for each and every one he brought 1,000 talents of gold, and they placed the gold in the furnace to refine it 1,000 times, until they reduce the gold to 1 talent for each candelabrum, as it is stated. Of a talent of pure gold shall it be made. Exodus 25:39. Any? Is that so? Any? Is that so? V'akativ v'chol kli mashke hamelach shlom zohav v'chol kli bayis yal alevot noin zohav sagur ein kesev נחשב בימי שלמה לביומו. סוף סוגו kamrinan. The Gemara asked, is that so? That all of Solomon's gold was exhausted for the fashioning of the candelabrum and its vessels? But isn't it written, and all of King Solomon's drinking vessels were of gold, and all of the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon were of pure gold? Silver was nothing accounted in the days of Solomon. 2 Chronicles 9:20. The Gemara answers, we are saying that Solomon's pure gold was exhausted for the fashion of the candelabrum, but not all of his gold. It said some of it was exhausted. It wasn't exhausted. A little bit exhausted. Whatever was used. Okay. Dian Kaini, Ichriso Shmoinim Pavim Lechol, Vehem Yidu Al Kiko, Kevan Nikoi. The Gemara asks, would refining the gold reduce it to this extent that 1,000 talents of gold would be reduced to 1 talent? But isn't it time of Bryce, Rabbi Yossi, the son of Yehuda, says an incident occurred where the weight of the candelabrum of the temple was found to be greater than the weight of the candelabrum of Moses by 1 kordinkini gold dinar. And they placed it in the furnace 80 times until the weight of the candelabrum stood at precisely 1 talent. Evidently, putting a candelabrum into the furnace reduces its weight by very little. The Gemara answers, once it is standing, meaning since the gold was refined to such a degree in the time of Solomon. Later, when it was refined 80 times, it was reduced by the weight of only 1 dinar. Amar Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani, Amar Rabbi Yonatan, my dichtiv, al menachet atahoyo, shiyordu ma'aseho b'makom tahoro, el me'at al shulchan ha'toyer, shiyordu ma'asov b'makom toyer, el toyer miklal shu tomei, achanami toyer hoiro, miklal shehi tomeo. Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani says that Rabbi Yonatan says, what is the meaning of that which is written upon the pure candelabrum? Leviticus 24 verse 4. It teaches that the procedure for fashioning descended, meaning was shown to Moses from the place of purity, meaning by God, who showed Moses a model of the candelabrum. The Gemara asks if that is so. Is that to say that phrase upon the pure table, Leviticus 24:6, also teaches that the procedure for fashioning it was shown to Moses from the place of purity? Rather, the expression of pure table teaches by inference that it is susceptible to becoming ritually impure. Here too, the expression the pure candelabrum teaches by inference that it is susceptible to becoming ritually impure. מכלל שהוא טמא כלי עת עשוי לנחס הוא וכל כלי עת עשוי לנחס אינו מקבל טומאה אלא בלמה שמגביל לאוילי גגולים ומראים להם לחם הפודים ואומר להם ראו חיבסכם לפני המוקויים. The Gemara rejects as granted the inference drawn there with regard to the table is in accordance with that with that which Reish Lakish says. As Reish Lakish says, what is the meaning of that which is written upon the pure table? Leviticus 24:6. The expression pure table teaches by inference that it is susceptible to becoming ritually impure. But why? Isn't the table a wooden vessel designed to rest in a fixed place? And any wooden vessel that is designed to rest in a fixed place is not susceptible to becoming ritually impure. Rather, this teaches that the table was not always left in a fixed place. The priest would lift the table with its showbread to display the showbread to the pilgrims standing in the temple courtyard, and the priest would say to them, "See your affection before the omnipresent." For this reason, the table is susceptible to becoming ritually impure. Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi nes gadol na'aseh b'lechem haponim siluko k'siduroi shenemar na'asum lechem choim b'yom hadikochoi. Parenthetically, the Gemara asks what is meant by see your affection before God. It is in accordance with that which Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi says, as Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi says, a great miracle is performed with the showbread. With the showbread in its condition at the time of its removal from the table, after having been left there for a week, was like its condition at the time of its arrangement on the table, as it is stated to place hot bread on the day when it was taken away, 1 Samuel 21 verse 7, indicating that it was as hot on the day of its removal as it was on the day when it was placed on the table. Elohacha tehoira michlal shitamei pshito klei matochois ninu uklei matochois mikablin tumo edeshiordu maseh mimakom taro. The Gemara resumes stating its objection, but here, with regard to the candelabrum, there is no reason to explain the expression. The pure candelabrum teaches by inference that it is susceptible to becoming ritually impure. This is obvious, as the candelabrums are metal vessels, and metal vessels are susceptible to becoming ritually impure, whether or not they remain in a fixed location. Rather, it must be that the expression the pure candelabrum teaches that the procedure for fashioning it descended, meaning was shown to Moses from the place of purity. Tanya, Rabbi Yosi Rabbi Yehuda Oimer, Orin shel Eish, V'shulchan shel Eish, U'menor shel Eish yordu min hashomayim, V'rob Moshe v'yosa k'moisem shnem rob Ura'ei, V'asei katavnisam, Asher ata mareva. It was time to bright up. Rabbi Yossi, son of Yehuda, says, an ark of fire and a table of fire and a candelabrum of fire descended from the heavens, and Moses saw their format and fashioned the vessels for the tabernacle in their likeness, as it is stated after the command to fashion these items in the sea, that you make them after their pattern which is being shown to you in the mountain. Exodus 25:40. Ela mi'atavek, who says the Mishkan Kimishpato, Asher Esav Ahar, Hachinami Hocha Chziv, Kimishpato, Asam Chziv, Katav Nisom. The Gemara asks if that is so. Is that to say that the verse, and you shall set up the tabernacle according to this fashion, which has been shown to you in the mount, Exodus 26:30, also indicates that God showed Moses the tabernacle of fire. The Gemara answers here with regard to the tabernacle is written according to its fashion, meaning that it should be built according to the instructions given to Moses. Whereas there, with regard to the ark, table, and candelabrum, is written after the pattern, indicating that the actual model of the items was shown to Moses. And Gavriel Chagur means pasikaya. Haya beherelo leMoshe maseh menoira. Dichsiv ze ma'aseh menoira. Apropos, this discussion of the Gemara relates. Rabbi Chia bar Abba says, Rabbi Yochanan says, the angel Gabriel was girded with a type of wide belt in the manner of artisans who tie up their clothes to prevent these clothes from hindering them in their work. And he showed the precise way to fashion the candelabrum to Moses, as is written, and this is the work of the candelabrum. Numbers 8, verse 4. And the term this indicates that an exact replica was shown to him. Okay. Not bad. Tony Bishmor, Shlosh Dvarim Hayu Kashin LeMoshe Asher Elo Yakadosh Baruch Hu Be'etzboi Be'Elohim Menoiro V'Rosh Chodesh U'Shrotzi Menoiro Dichsiv V'Zeh Ma'aseh Menoiro Rosh Chodesh Dichsiv V'Chodesh Zeh Lachem Rosh Chodoshim Shrotzim Dichsiv V'Zeh Lachem Atomim Yehoshua Hilchos Shchita Shneimar V'Zeh Asher Ta'aseh Al HaMizbeach. The school of Rabbi Ishmael taught 3 matters were difficult for Moses to comprehend precisely until the Holy One, blessed be He, showed them to him with his finger. And these are the 3 matters: the form of the candelabrum and the exact size of the new moon, and the impure creeping animals. The candelabrum was shown to him as it is written, and this is the work of the candelabrum. Numbers 8:4. The new moon was shown to him as is written, this month shall be for you the beginning of months. Exodus 12:2. The creeping animals were shown to him as it is written, and these are they which are unclean for you among the swarming things. Leviticus 11:29. And there are those who say that God also showed Moses the halachot of slaughtering, as it is stated, now this is that which you shall sacrifice upon the altar. Exodus 29:38. And slaughtering is the first ritual of sacrifice. The Mishnah teaches regard to the 2 passages that are in the mezuzah. The absence of each prevents fulfillment of the mitzvah with the others. Furthermore, the absence of even one letter prevents fulfillment of the mitzvah with the rest of them. The Gemara asks, isn't it obvious that the absence of even one letter prevents fulfillment of the mitzvah, since it is written, and you shall write them, Deuteronomy 6:9, which teaches that the writing must be complete. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav Lo Nitzicha El Koitza Shel Yod. V'honami pshita El Nechidach Rav Yehuda Amar Rav Rav Yehuda Amar Rav Kol Ois She'en Gevil Mukaf Lo. Yehuda says that Rav says it was necessary to state that only to teach that even the absence of the thorn, meaning the small stroke of a letter yud, prevents fulfillment of the mitzvah. The Gemara asks, but isn't this also obvious? Since the letter is not formed properly, rather it is necessary, according to another statement that Rabbi Yehuda says that Rav says, any letter that is not encircled with blank parchment on all 4 of its sides, meaning where its ink connects to the letter above it, below it, preceding it, or succeeding it, is unfit. When the Mishnah makes reference to one letter preventing fulfillment of the mitzvah, it is referring to a letter that touches an adjacent letter. Amar Ashyan Bar Nidbach. I remember him from 7.5 years ago. Ashyan Bar Nidbach. I was in Chicago, and Rabbi Daniel Deutsch was giving the Daf Yomi shir, and we were talking right here in Menachot. We are in Menachot. Ya, 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 ya. But when was it? I think it was in Elul time, Taki. Was it? Yeah, it was in Elul time of 2018. Ashian Bar Nidbach. I remember this name. It was a very unusual name. Amar Ashian Bar Nidbach, Mishpeit Rav Yehuda, Nikav Teichai Shel Hei Kosher Echei Pasul. We were learning there in Shaarei Tzedek in Chicago, and I was going to the Daf Yomi Shir Take of Daniel Deutsch. I remember that very well. Yes, I do remember it. And then we also had a shir, and then Yishai, what's his name? Broner was giving the shir over there at the big shul. It was around this time, so I'm thinking it's probably like, I was in 2018. I went to Chicago. Yeah, it was 2018. I was in Chicago for the high holidays, and I came sometime before. It was like Elul of 2018. September 2018, does that make sense? Like late August 2018. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think it makes sense. Amar Shiam Bar Nidbach, Mishmei Rav Yehuda, Nikev Taichai Shel Hei Kasher Yirechoi Pasul. Amar Rav Zera Didi Mi Parshali Mine Mi Rav Huna Rav Yaakov Omar. Or was it somebody else? Ashiam Bar Nidbach also shows it someone else in Shas. Had to do with like workers on a roof who fell down or something. Maybe that's what I asked him. Okay, anyway, let's just go back here. Sorry for the detour. Amar Ashiam Bar Nidbach Mishmei Rav Yehuda Nikev Teicha Shel Hei Kosher Echei Pasul. Amar Rav Zera Didi Mifal Sheli Minei Rav Yehuda Rav Yaakov Amar Didi Mifal Sheli Minei Rav Yehuda Nikev Teicha Shel Hei Kosher Yirechoi Im Nishtaya Boy Kishir Ois Katana Kosher Im La Pasul. Ashjan Bar Nidbach says in the name of Rav Yehuda, if the inner part of the letter Hey was perforated, it is fit. If the inner part of the letter Hey was perforated, it is fit. But if the perforation was in the leg of the letter Hey, it is unfit. Rabbi Zera says, this matter was explained to me by Rav Huna. And Rav Yaakov says, this matter was explained to me by Rav Yehuda. If the inner part of the letter Hey was perforated, it is fit. In a case where the perforation was in the leg of the letter Hey, then if there remained in the leg that is attached to the roof of the letter, the equivalent of the measure of a small letter Yud, then it is fit. But if not, it is unfit. The Gemara relates. Okay, we'll keep this for the next Amud, and we'll stop right here.